You're listening to A Tiny Homestead, the podcast comprised entirely of conversations with homesteaders, cottage food producers, and crafters. I'm your host, Mary Lewis. Today I'm talking with Ashley at H&H Homestead in Texas. Good morning, Ashley. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I haven't actually recorded an episode for A Tiny Homestead in over a week because people have been busy.
It is that time, especially down here. I mean, we're planting everything. I mean, we've had some stuff going for weeks, so I can imagine everybody's kind of really getting into it right now.
Yeah, it's that time of year, and I go through the same thing in the fall when everybody's
hmm
harvesting, and I
hmm
go through the same thing at Christmas and New Year's because everybody's busy with family.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So I'm very happy you had time to talk with me today.
Yeah,
How
absolutely.
how is the weather in Texas this morning?
It is so sunny and nice. I went out and watered everything as early as I possibly could because I know we're supposed to get to 100 today. So I wanted to make sure, you know, I was out there before it got super hot.
Oh, I was cringing at the fact that we're supposed to have like 84 for a high on Friday. 100 would kill me right now.
Oh no. See, you're in Minnesota, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like you just acclimate to where you are. Because I mean, I've been to Minnesota several times. I used to live in Alaska, and I am such a warm weather person now. I really don't like being cold. So it's like you just get used to where you're at and then, go to somewhere opposite and it really throws you.
I would rather this is gonna sound really stupid because I do not enjoy deep winter, but I
Yeah.
would rather deal with cold because I can throw on more layers of clothes.
Well,
If it's
fair.
hot, I can't get any more naked than naked.
Just extra fans, extra fans. I, however, like not even just the cold. I have not had to shovel snow in years, and
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep. One of the things I used to do when I was a kid, because I grew up in Maine, and Maine is very,
Yeah.
very, very humid in July and August, and I
Yeah.
would get headaches when it was hot. And so
Oh.
I would literally come in the house, go in the bathroom, strip down, get in a cold, cold, cold shower
Yeah.
so that my hair was wet. And then I would dry
Um,
my hair just enough so that it wasn't
mhm.
dripping, and that cold hair on my neck would keep me cooler.
Yeah. Yeah, that's smart.
But I hate being hot. Hot is my least favorite state of being.
Well, see, there has to be, opposites in people. Otherwise, we'd all be in Minnesota or we'd all be in Texas. So it's a good thing that there's a mix.
It would be a very boring world if everybody was the same, yes, and
Yeah.
my podcast would put people to sleep. So, alright, so why is it H and H Homestead?
Well, so our last name is Huff.
Mhm.
And so there's two of us, me and my husband, but then our boys' names are also both start with H. So either way you look at it, there's just H's all around. So we went with H and H.
Oh, I love it. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
great. And, like, way to be original, mom.
What? Well, I had to keep with I don't know, our being our last name, Huff, or then it's Hank and Hogan Huff, and then they have the same middle initial as well. So everyone's got the same, just that way everything stays the same. Get one thing personalized. Technically, it goes for everybody.
Fabulous. That's really great. So what do you do at H&H Homestead?
A little bit of everything. So we're kind of new to this. So, and I blame my oldest son for getting us started in this because he brought home the chickens from his first grade class. And this is kind of what started the whole thing is his first grade class hatched these chickens for, studying the life cycle of animals, right? And they had these 7 adorable little chickens and then summer rolled around and nobody necessarily wanted to take them. So of course I volunteered. So we started with chickens and then from there, I was like, well, my chickens need some neighbors out there. They look a little sad. So then we got quail, and then I did a greenhouse, and now I have dozens of raised garden beds, and now we have bunnies, and we just got chukkers. And so I'll probably like everyone else's. You're just always adding something and always doing the next thing on your homestead.
Yeah, it's one of the best things about it. I don't know
Yeah.
what a chucker is.
They're little game birds. They're called chukker partridge. They're a little bit bigger than a quail. Brown. They've got a little black ring around their neck. My husband used to hunt them growing up, and now we're just gonna have an easier way to do that because we'll just walk out to the backyard.
Don't have to hunt, just have to
Mhm.
acquire.
Exactly. Yes,
So chicken math quickly led to homesteading math is what you're
it
telling
did.
me.
Yes, it did. with of course a side of sourdough because that has to come with it too.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna talk about sourdough today, but you brought it up. I have sourdough, starter in my fridge. It's been in my
Okay.
fridge for a month
Okay.
because I made it and it was doing great, and I was like, I'm not gonna make bread right now." So I
Yeah.
stuck the jar in my fridge, and I really haven't looked at it since. And because you said it, now when I go
Now
downstairs, I'm gonna
you're
have to
gonna.
take it out and make sure it's
Mhm.
not dead.
I have never put mine in the fridge. I know people do that. I've just never. I've always been afraid that that's gonna kill it. So I probably, I make as many discard recipes that I do actual bread, just because 'cause I'm like, "I gotta do something to keep it going."
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
My husband part of the reason I got stuck in the fridge is because my husband makes yeast breads, and he's really good at it.
Oh, yeah.
And there for 3 or 4 weekends in a row, he had made 4 loaves of yeast bread every weekend, so we had
Oh,
bread that was already
yeah.
made in the freezer, and I was like, I'm not even going to attempt to make the 3rd loaf of my life of sourdough right now." So I put it in the fridge, and I guess as long as it doesn't have orange or pink mold on it, it's still
Yeah.
viable.
I think
So,
so. I think it just
I'm
gets that, like, layer of stuff on top and you pour it off and
yep,
then
and just
yeah.
add some more stuff to it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
gotta check that today, and I honestly don't want to because that means that
Well, I
I'll
didn't
be
mean to
like,
just add to your to-do list, right
It's
off the
fine.
bat.
My to-do list today is basically the podcast recording with you, but
Perfect.
I really should check. I really should. Um, so do you have land or are you an urban homesteader?
We have about an acre, just a little over an acre, and I mean, technically, we're within city limits, but here, we're very I mean, we could walk and we're outside of it. We're so close to the edge. So, like, we don't have a ton of space, but, I feel like really maximize the area that we have. I have everything kind of, right next to each other, not super spread out. Definitely still have room for more animals. I've been telling my husband I want goats or I want pigs or I want something else. And so far he's not super on board yet. Doesn't
Yeah.
seem to have a problem if I add any type of bird that I want. But as soon as it has four legs, then it's, more of a discussion. So
Is it because he's afraid he'll get more invested in a four-legged critter because they don't
I
have feathers?
maybe, I mean, he grew up with this kind of stuff. Like he, showed pigs. He had all this kind of stuff. So it's not as new to him as it is to me and the boys. So I think he's just, maybe not as excited about doing it again per se. He did say that about the bunnies when we first got the bunnies because we were given them as meat rabbits. We have since kind of transitioned more into pet bunnies because they happen to be just so adorable. But it's like I get it. I mean, I think if we bought a pig, knowing that we're going to raise it for consumption, then it's different than if we buy a pet and then you know keep it as a pet.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Mm.
So, when you decided you wanted to get into this,
Hmm.
did you talk to your friends about it?
Not necessarily, maybe a little, but we don't necessarily have people who we're super close with that are doing the exact same thing. We have friends who have had chickens or have had ducks, um, who coincidentally no longer have chickens or ducks, but that didn't deter me. So I was determined to do it regardless.
Okay, the reason I ask is because
Mhm.
when my husband and I had the chance to start looking for a homestead, like land,
Mhm.
because we lived on a 10th of an acre lot for over 20
Yeah.
years. When we made the offer on the place that we've lived at for 6 years in August now,
Mhm.
we waited until we knew the offer was accepted to tell people,
Yeah.
and the reaction on all the people that we told's faces, that's terrible grammar, sorry, was the same. It it was shock, it was
Okay.
denial, and then it was like, "What the hell?"
Why? What is it? I mean, maybe is it just not as common where you because I feel like even in our little neighborhood, we're kind of a little afterthought. I wouldn't even call us a subdivision. I mean, in the morning, I hear probably 7 other roosters. Like everybody has something. There's sheep down the road that sometimes end up in our driveway. Like around here, I feel like it's just everybody has something.
I don't know the answer to your question, and I really don't know on a lot of levels because we had been growing a garden in our backyard for years. Like
Mhm.
like a lot of produce
Yeah.
came out of that little tiny backyard.
Mhm.
And We had been growing peonies and flowers in the front garden. We had gotten chickens when the bird flu went through that first
Oh.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't even know we were allowed to have chickens, but I was like, I don't want to be without eggs. We're getting
Yeah.
chickens. So we had
Yeah.
4 chickens.
Mm-hmm.
And we had always said to our friends that if we had the opportunity, that we would find a place that had more land and we would move.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they believed us because no one, no one was
Really?
unsurprised. No, everyone was surprised.
Huh. Interesting.
And to this day, I think that they still think we're insane.
Well, they can think that until you give them eggs and produce and bread and all the things that are coming from your homestead.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
the other thing that I've said a lot on this podcast is that I grew up with my parents growing a garden, with
Mm-hmm.
them heating their house with a wood stove, which meant that we as kids helped with the
Yeah.
splitting and the hauling of the wood for the wood stove.
Mm-hmm.
My mom canned. My mom froze extra produce in the freezer in the basement. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that homesteading was anything weird. I thought everybody did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. So when I first started this, again, like I said, we're fairly new to this, but I made a point of asking people who did classify themselves a homestead, like when do you consider yourself a homestead, and when are you just, I have a hobby, or I have a backyard garden, or I have, some chickens. And a lot of people were saying that it's more of a, like, homesteading is a state of mind. If you feel like you are doing this because you're wanting to, better the quality of food that you are feeding to your family and that kind of thing. So it's interesting to think about when people consider it an actual homestead.
Yes, and for me, because of the way I was brought up, I always equated homesteading and prepping, and
Oh, yeah.
not tinfoil hat prepping, but just being prepared.
Yeah. Yep.
Because if you grow up in Maine, where I grew up, and you know what winters are like in Maine,
Mm.
sometimes you literally can't get out of your driveway for a week because it's too
Yeah.
icy, or the plows can't get to where you are and you're stuck. If
Yeah.
you're out of toilet paper or out of milk or out of coffee, you're
You're just
out.
out of it for a while. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I didn't know that people actually only bought things every day that they needed and
Yeah.
didn't prepare for the occasional emergency.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So it's just the whole thing is so nuanced, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, and different where you are, and different. I mean, I take a homestead here in Texas versus somewhere up north. We're doing probably different things. Maybe the same basic. We have animals, we have the garden, but the way what we're planning for and what we're growing and saving and prepping is probably completely different, just geographically too.
Um, I think to a point, yes. And
Yeah.
I think part of that is that you are lucky enough to live in an area where you probably have persimmons that grow, persimmon trees.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have any. We are. I have a love-hate relationship with trees and getting them to grow, and sometimes I'm convinced West Texas doesn't have the
Okay.
ability to grow trees. I don't know. I honestly have to look and see if we have any around here. I don't know.
Well, I know in the South that there are fruits that grow that will not survive Minnesota,
Oh, for sure.
like
Yeah.
papa trees, persimmon
Mhm.
trees, anything kind of tropical-ish.
Yeah.
They won't make it here because they can't survive the cold freeze in the winter.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I thought that peaches wouldn't grow here, but we have 2 peach trees, and we got
Ooh.
peaches 2 falls ago.
So I don't want to jinx myself, but I might actually get peaches this year. So I planted trees a year and a half ago now. Peach, pear, apple, and plum.
Yep.
And we got flowers on everything. I was so excited. And then, good old West Texas windstorm comes through, and all of the flowers are gone on everything except for the peach trees. But we do actually have a couple that, provided they stay on, we should be able to enjoy at least a peach this year.
I hope you get to because there is no
Thank
better peach than the peach that you grow yourself.
I am really trying to. There's some things that it's funny. My youngest, my 6-year-old, he's more into everything in the garden because he he eats everything, which is great. Like he'll go out and I mean, if there's 2 or 3 tomatoes that are ready, like they won't make it out of the garden. Like he just eats everything. But so he has asked for, he would like an apple, he would like peaches, and he would like some strawberries. And it's like the things that he has asked for are the ones that I struggle with the most. I don't know how many strawberry plants I have killed at this point. And it's like, I don't know why. There's some things that just, they do not do well in my backyard.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, strawberries are hard because birds love them.
Yeah.
So you may think that you're bad at strawberries, but it may just be that the birds are getting them before you see them.
I'm going to go with that, but I don't know if it's true.
It's like we have elderberry trees here, and
Yeah.
elderberry is a really, really good thing to have growing on your property. And
Mm-hmm.
I think there's 2 and they grow wild. And
Mm-hmm.
every spring they bloom and they're beautiful. And I'm like, yes, elderberries.
Yeah.
I've not gotten to them yet.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the reason I haven't gotten to them yet is because birds adore
Yeah.
elderberries.
Oh,
And I said to my husband this winter, I said, is there any way we could put like bird netting over
I
the
was just going to
trees?
say that. Yeah.
And he said, if I had a really good fire truck with a really good ladder.
Yep. We might need that.
And I laughed and I said, well, how much would one of those cost us? And he went,
Just like
what?
rent it, just rent one, I'm sure. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
he said, "What?" And I said, I'm kidding." He said, "You are so deadpan sometimes. I don't know if you're joking."
Yeah.
And I said,
I
"Maybe
love
we
it.
could get one of the firemen to drive down and help." And he was like,
Mm-hmm.
"They're not gonna do that." I said, "Yeah, I know." So I think that my chances of getting elderberries for anything are probably slim to none, but it was really neat to find out we had elderberry trees on our property.
Yes.
And the birds were here long before I was, so
So yes, you gotta
you
let them
know.
have them. Yeah.
Yup, and I mean, I feel like we as humans have stolen so many things from nature that if
Mm.
I have to
Yeah.
sacrifice elderberries to the birds, I'm just giving back things that were stolen from them a long
That's
time
true.
ago.
That's true. That's fair.
And I'm not gonna die if I don't get the elderberries. It's fine. However, my husband is going to go out and cut asparagus tonight because our asparagus patch is going crazy.
That's one that I would like to do too. I haven't done that one yet. The new ones we've added this year, just because I feel like, I mean, tomatoes do great. We do so many herbs. The main thing I like to do is loofahs, which I'll talk about those in a second. But I really, really just wanted to grow a side dish, a nice side dish to go with a quail dinner, right? And it's just like I I failed at a couple different variations of green beans last year. Um, so this year I did Brussels sprouts, which are doing great. And then another new one was artichoke hearts, which are actually doing
Yes.
really, really well.
Yes,
So
that's one
yeah.
thing you probably can grow like crazy.
Mhm.
We've tried. They do not do well
Yeah.
here.
Oh, see, and I thought they were even considered well, cool weather, maybe not cold weather, cool weather. Because like I think I planted them too late last year, the Brussels sprouts, and they didn't get the actual Brussels sprout before it got too hot for them, and then the leaves just died. So I planted them much, much, much earlier this year. So hopefully we'll have a good harvest of those.
Yeah, Brussels sprouts and artichokes, a no-go. We have tried.
Yeah.
They just never do anything.
Oh. Well, I'm fingers crossed on those, but no, the
Mhm.
other one that I love to do, did them last year, is loofah gourds. So like,
How long is the growing time for those from seed to ready?
well, so so I didn't eat them. Like you can
Yep.
eat them. I know you can. And that's like 90 days or something like that. But then if you just let them go about 120 plus days and let them, dry on the vine and then, get them as loofah sponges. That's what I did. So I let them all dry, which worked really, really well here. And because it's perfect. You literally plant this plant and your whole goal is to just let it die on the vine. So it's really hard to mess up. So it's great. But then let them all dry and then peel them. And then I actually cut them apart and then I sewed them all onto, um, I crocheted a little rectangle with 100% cotton yarn and then sewed the loofah onto the other side. And then for Christmas last year, everybody got homemade loofah sponges. So it was the perfect little growing a gift.
That is a great idea. I love that.
Mm.
See,
Oh,
this is the other thing about homesteaders. We're all very creative,
mhm.
or we're curious enough to go find the people who are creative and copy their ideas.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I honestly didn't. I think for the longest time, I wasn't really, a loofah. I think growing up having a loofah sponge, it was one of those. nylon, puffy ball things. I wasn't thinking actual natural loofahs. And then I think it was probably even TikTok or Instagram or something. I saw a lady talking about growing them. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give that a try. And they actually do really, really well.
If we wanted to grow them here, we would have to get them planted in February.
Yeah.
Like in a container in the house to get them started and then
Oh, yeah.
transplant them.
Yeah. I
'Cause
have seen ones though. There was a lady I watched, she was in, I think, Michigan, and she grew them into where about the time that they were starting to get a frost, they weren't quite dry yet, right? They weren't brown. So
yeah.
she picked them and she slowly dried them in her oven, like the
Okay.
lowest possible setting, door open. She had the little convection fan thing and just naturally, or not naturally, I guess, but dried them that way. So maybe that would have to do it when it's cold.
Yeah, I don't know because we've talked about it, but my husband, for some reason, just isn't into this whole loofah idea, and he's the gardener. And
Um,
I meant to just order some seeds back last fall so I could just
mhm.
hand them to him this spring, and I completely forgot about it.
Well, next time you decide, I will send you some. I'll put some in an envelope. I'll mail them to you because that's the thing is you get one loofah plant and then you get a bunch of loofahs from that one plant, and each loofah has between 50 to 100 seeds in it. So I mean, I have so many seeds. I have sent them to friends all over. I sent them to my parents in South Dakota. I sent them to my sister. I sent them to friends in Minnesota. They're going to try them this year, so I'll let you know how those go.
Okay.
I've sent them to Utah even, so all over. So we'll see. We'll see what state has the best return.
I will message you my mail address, and maybe you
Deal.
could send me you could be my, loofah seed dealer.
Supply. Absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
on it.
So,
So
the other fun thing that you do is you have the fluffy bunny rabbits.
I do. I have fluffy and well, I have lop-eared and lionhead. We have both.
Yeah.
And these are the ones where, like I said, they were some friends got them and they were given them as meat rabbits. And technically, lop-eared, they can be dual purpose, pet meat rabbits. And it's just like once you go out there and I play with them every single morning, and I'm like, man, we're just gonna be in the pet rabbit trade now because I don't know. They're just so darn cute.
Yeah, for the listener, if you guys wanna see the cutest baby bunnies ever, you've got to
Mhm.
go to H&H Homestead on Facebook and scroll down a couple posts, and there are the most beautiful fluffy bunny babies I've ever seen.
Well, thank you. Well, and it's funny. We have about three different ages now because we've got the ones that just opened their eyes, and then from another mom, she had a litter. What they probably are about 5, 6 months now, but they're like the middle fluffy stage. And then of course we have the parents. But yes, they are definitely fluffy, adorable. They require a little bit of maintenance. Like I probably brush the bunnies more often than I brush my dogs because they're not really the shedding type. But I go out there with uh a little brush, and I'm there. So the lion head are part Angora. So I am brushing them and I'm saving their fur, and I have it in a little bag, and then I will wash it with the wool that I have from a friend's sheep, and then I'm going to spin some yarn this fall and see if I can't make something out of it.
Are you lucky enough to have a spinning wheel, or do you just have the little, I don't know, the
Just a
small
little
pieces?
thing, a little one, and then I mean, if I really get in, if this becomes my next new big hobby, then maybe I'll consider a big spinning wheel one, with the foot pedals and stuff like that. Otherwise, just a little tabletop battery powered ones.
Yeah, hang on one second, Ashley.
Yeah,
I had a tickle in the back of my throat, and I didn't wanna cough in your ear, sorry.
you're good.
Um, if you ever do look into getting an actual spinning wheel,
Yeah.
I would recommend that you go and look for a used one because I looked years ago at how
Yeah.
much a new one is.
Oh, yeah.
They were exorbitant then. I don't even know how much they cost now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's for sure. I mean, I remember years ago I think it was the first time I ever saw someone using one of the big giant ones, they probably sit 3, 4 feet off the floor, and she's working it with both of her foot pedals, and I can imagine those ones are very, very expensive.
Yes, and I am fascinated by them because
They're so fun to watch.
yeah, the I don't know what the word is. The mechanics of it. Just
Mhm.
like, how did somebody figure out how to make these things? Because 'Cause they've been
Oh, for
around
sure.
forever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very fun.
Yeah.
See, I figured that's, I'm just going to have to, I feel like I'm always adding a new craft or a new something. And so, last year was sewing of these leaf sponges. And now I feel like it needs to be crocheting of something, even though, I might crochet a hat or ear warmers or things that I don't really need in West Texas. But we do occasionally get 1 week of a little bit of cold weather. So I might use it then.
People love scarves.
That's true.
Even if it's Florida, people
That's
love
true.
scarves.
That's true.
My daughter lives in Florida. It got kind of chilly this winter for a little bit in Florida.
Yeah.
And she messaged me and she was like, "Wish I knew how to crochet." She said, "You know how to crochet." And I
You
said,
should.
I said, do you need a scarf?" And she was like, "I don't really need one." She said, "But I feel like she said, having grown up part of my life in Minnesota, she said, I feel like I should be sitting with a cup of tea and
Mm-hmm.
crocheting because I watched you do it." And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty easy. And I showed you how.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She said, "I think I'm just romanticizing it." I said, "You really don't want to do it. You just wanted to talk
Just
about it."
want,
She's like,
yeah.
"Yeah."
Yeah. I like it. No, I love to crochet. That's something where I like to sit in the evening when we're watching TV or something, and I crochet something. I can multitask and crochet without having to think about the stitches and just kind of, repetition. Knitting, I have to actually read a pattern or focus. But
Hmm.
crochet, and I do Tunisian crochet, and that's really fun to do. That's what I did with the backs for the sponges was Tunisian crochet.
Nice.
Mm.
I despise knitting. I
Do
tried
you?
to learn when I was like 13.
Mm-hmm.
My mom knitted and I was like, "Show me how." And
Mm-hmm.
she taught me the whole knit one, purl two,
Pearl one. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I just it was way too persnickety, and I hated the sound of the needles clicking, which is really weird.
That's funny. I find that relaxing. And then I usually have like long fingernails or something, and then like the sound of the fingernails with the knitting. I don't know. It's one of those. I find that like a relaxing sound. That's so fun.
Yeah, I don't know, and I mean, I may be on the autism spectrum, I don't know, I've never been diagnosed, but there are just certain things that drive
Yeah.
me insane,
Oh
and
yeah.
then knitting needle clicking was one of the things that just I was like, "God, I hate that noise, I don't know why."
So if you ever do take up knitting, you're gonna do it while wearing earplugs or like loud music blaring, and that'll
I'm
be
just
perfect.
not gonna take up knitting. I will crochet.
Do you do any other crafts too, like uh, um outside of crochet?
Uh, I love to cook,
Oh, same. Yep.
so I don't know if that's a craft, but I do, I love to cook.
I think it can
Um,
be.
I used to like to do, I don't know what it's called, not embroidery, cross stitch.
Oh, cross stitch. Yeah.
Yep, I used to.
I'll do a cross stitch if it has like the image already printed on there. I don't know that I have the patience sometimes for counted cross stitch. Like I just want to look and match colors and do it that way.
Yes, and what's really weird is knitting is too persnickety for me, but counted cross stitch was really easy.
Really? Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah.
I'm very weird. But I haven't done cross stitch in a long time. I got into it when I was probably 32, 33,
Yeah.
and I'm 56 now. And
Mm. Wow.
I found out that my mother-in-law really loved butterflies.
Yeah.
And so I found these 2 really gorgeous butterfly cross stitch kits, and I made them for her, and I gave her one for her birthday and one for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And then she passed away, back just the beginning of COVID, and she didn't pass away from COVID, she passed away
Yeah.
from something else. And we were packing up the house, and she had those cross stitches hanging on her walls, and I have them, I put them away because I put a lot
Mhm.
of hours into those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, I think I'm past my cross stitching phase.
Yeah. Well, I can see that. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
and the next
and
thing, just my other big one is sewing and quilting. I love all things sewing and quilting.
yeah, I never got into quilting.
No.
My mom loves to quilt, like
Yeah.
loves it, and she's 79 years old, and I think
Yeah.
the last quilt she made was 2 years ago.
Oh, wow, good. So I think once you start, you just never stop. I've been sewing since I was about 6, my mom taught me, and then picked up quilting later, probably like after high school, and then, I've taught both sewing and quilting for probably 15 plus years now. I design patterns, publish patterns. Was on a quilt show. Me and my friend did a couple episodes or a
Oh,
couple
fun.
seasons of a quilt show. And then I sew anything and everything. And my first sewing book actually just came out last November. So yeah, I love to do all things related to fabric.
Do you have a website, Ashley?
Not a personal, just the Facebook page.
So where's your book available?
So Amazon is the big one. So it's 500 sewing tips, tricks, techniques, and hacks. But a bunch of, if it's a small little quilt shop, those have them. Barnes and Noble has them. But Amazon, I think, is just the easiest way for everything, for all shopping.
That's exciting. I didn't realize you had a book.
Yeah, thank you. But it was fun. It was like I said, I've taught both sewing and quilting for years and done it either in person or I probably have hundreds of hours of, just short little clips or little tip videos or long form classes. And so it was kind of fun to do the written version of that. Like I feel like it's very easy to I think it's easy to teach someone, like when you're physically sitting there next to them, right, and showing them how to do something and explaining something. But it was a very different process to actually put it into words of like trying to make a cohesive, understandable book. But it was a lot of fun.
Nice. You are very talented and you're very
Oh,
busy.
thank
And you give me hope because this homesteading thing is not a fad.
you. Yeah,
It is a way of life. And
I agree.
as the world gets scarier and crazier, I feel like the people that are practicing homesteading skills are the ones who are basically going to save us.
Yeah. Well, it's like we won't necessarily need the big box stores and things like that. Like, we will be able to do and provide for ourselves.
Yep,
For the
exactly.
most part, yeah.
So I'm trying to get everybody on board who wants to be on board because we need the world to survive. Because honestly, nature doesn't give one flying F about humans.
No.
Nature would go on just fine if all humans disappeared tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And I don't
Well,
want humans to disappear.
no one does. But I think like you're saying, some people don't want to fully embrace full on homesteading per se. But it's like if somebody just picks one thing that they're into, like maybe you only want chickens, you don't want to do anything else, or maybe you only want to grow this one specific thing. But if everybody has just the one thing that they're doing, then everybody all together, we're still going to have everything we need.
Exactly. All right, Ashley, this was really fun and I
Yes,
appreciate your
thank you.
time.
Of
People can
course.
find you at H&H Homestead on Facebook.
Yes, absolutely.
Are you on Instagram?
No, I probably should, but I'm not yet.
Okay. All right. As always, people can find me at atinyhomesteadpodcast.com. Ashley, I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.